This module was made to help supplement the survey that you're about to fill out. Most people that set goals only focus on the how of goal achievement. This is important, but we are also going to focus on why a goal is important to you. Logically, the first thing that we need to do is actually figure out what your goal is. We then want to ask, why is that goal important to you? So if we're looking at this from a research perspective, whenever someone has a goal and they talk about why that goal is important, we're actually moving up to something that's called the principal level of control. And it will be useful to know this for when you actually fill out the following learning module. Now, if a person had a goal of perhaps losing 20 pounds and they were asked why that goal is important to them, they would be moving up to what I already called the principal level of control. Now we can go up even further and we can say, why is that principal level of control important to you? And this is where we're going to come to what's called a system concept of control. When you get up to the system level of control, you've essentially identified why your goal is valuable to you. You've basically identified what your life value is, which is a really great start. But I also want you to think about why that actually matters to you. So it might be one thing to say, I value health, but why is that important to you? And when you do the survey today, you're going to be filling out, taking at least 10 minutes to think about why a certain value that you've identified is important to you. So what are we going to do with all this? And I'm actually going to say something that you won't hear a lot of health or fitness professionals actually say. And that is that exercise and healthy eating is really, really tough. When you start changing some of your behaviors, you're going to experience some negative emotions. You might experience some feelings of anxiety when you go into the gym, maybe even feelings of extreme craving and hunger. I've had you identify values because anytime that you give in to any of those urges, so for example, if going to the gym was giving you anxiety, the simple solution is leave the gym. You leave the gym, you get rid of the anxiety. The hard solution is to endure. So the bottom line is that when you start out consistently exercising and changing your diet can totally suck. But this is only temporary. And here's what the truth is. The truth is, if you quit or if you give up because of any kind of temporary negative emotions or negative feelings, then you're going to be good, but only for a little while. Now, humans have essentially what we'll call two minds. So we have a short-term mind and we have a long-term mind. Now, if someone is using their short-term mind and they come across challenging or negative experiences, they run away from this. That logically makes sense. We run away from things that are causing us emotional or even physical or seemingly physical harm. But when we've identified values or long-term goals and we're using our long-term minds, we see that these challenges or negative experiences are actually necessary to help us become the person that we want to be. Now, I was a strength and conditioning coach for 5 years. And one team that I worked with was the men's basketball team, and that was at SUNY Cortland, the college that I was a strength coach at. And we would always have these just rigorous, grueling morning sessions to get them ready for the season. And one thing that I would always tell them is that if you're pushing yourself, you're going to hear a voice in your head that's going to want to tell your body to stop. Just because that voice is telling you to stop, it doesn't mean you have to listen to it. As a matter of fact, that voice only comes on in your head when you're in an uncomfortable situation. But you can also only improve when you're in an uncomfortable situation. And here's the other thing. That voice in your head does not tell the truth. you are the only person who can give truth to your thoughts. So for my basketball players, if the voice is telling them they have to stop, they don't have to accept that as true. For someone who's losing weight and is having thoughts in their head, oh, I can't do it, I'm a failure, I've failed before, why should this be any different now? Or I'm in the gym and I feel like I don't know what I'm doing and people are judging me. Remember, you are the only one that can actually give truth to your thoughts. Thoughts are simply thoughts. Remember, when we first start changing our behaviors, start doing healthier things, it's going to suck. Eating unhealthy food tastes better than eating healthy food. Sitting on a couch feels a lot better than running. But just remember that this is only temporary. Once people have been exercising and eating healthy for years, they don't go back because realistically, that is a better lifestyle. And now there's only one way that we can wade through that suckiness period. And that's that if in the long run, that suffering actually means something. And that's why I encourage people to identify how their values are connected to their goals. So if someone says, I want to lose 20 pounds, but they run into barriers or they start feeling uncomfortable, well, it's easy to quit. But if you've identified your values and you've identified that health is a value for you, and you've identified reasons why health is important to you, so the reason why it might be something such as, I value health because I want to see my grandchildren grow up. If we identify values, it's the only thing that gets us through the suckiness of actually changing. So if you did make your value health and you did provide a rationale for it, I value health because I want to see my grandchildren grow up, then when you're at the gym exercising, you're not doing it just to go to the gym to exercise. You're doing it because you want to see your grandchildren grow up. Or when you say, I'm going to have vegetables instead of dessert, or I'm going to have fruit instead of dessert, you're foregoing pleasure, but you're doing it for a reason. So exercise and diet, it's true, it might suck for a little while, but it does get better. What doesn't suck is when you build the strength to work through that sucky period and you come out on the other side and you've really found out that you've became the person that you want to be. And in the end, just remember, you're awesome.